Dr. Miller, I really appreciate you being with us today to talk to us a little bit about the Healthpointe program and your views on this. And let you go ahead and say some things that you'd like to.
Well, I appreciate that introduction. Thank you. Unfortunately, in my clinic, I see patients after they've already had a heart attack or after they've already had a stroke. So they usually see my husband first, get their stent or their bypass, and then after rehab, they're there to see me what to do with the rest of their life. I think there's one thing we can all agree on. It's one thing to talk about weight loss, nutrition, exercise, and reducing stress, but it's another thing to live it. We all want a program that's safe, smart, fast, convenient, and does not intrude on our already busy schedules. Healthpointe easily meets these goals, and I'm just really excited to talk about this program. I've never seen a program so well based in science, but so easily fits into our modern lifestyle. Healthpointe does not use drugs like stimulants or appetite suppressants. Healthpointe does not use surgery like lap banding or gastric bypass. Healthpointe uses the amazing medical breakthrough of activating our natural weight loss hormone that our bodies make and suppressing our weight gain hormone. I'm going to go into that a little bit more in a few minutes. Okay. One thing Healthpointe doesn't do is it doesn't starve us to get the weight down and tries to pretend we're going to get healthier by starving. That's not the way to health. And Healthpointe can be followed whether you eat your meals at home or you eat out at restaurants. I really like that. There truly is no other program out there like Healthpointe. Healthpointe comes in two main components. The first component is the weight loss, and the second component is the long-term health maintenance. If you look at the programs that are out there, many of them will emphasize weight loss. Almost none of them emphasize the long-term health maintenance. So I wanted to go over those in detail if I could.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
In the weight loss program, as I mentioned before, we have the incredible medical breakthrough of activating the weight loss hormone, which we know is glucagon, and suppressing the weight gain hormone of insulin. The weight loss hormone of glucagon, we can convince our bodies to produce that hormone by snacking. Now, that's my favorite part of the whole program. And there is no other program out there that emphasizes snacking as the way to weight loss. So you definitely do not starve on this program. With this program, you eat the correct amount and use the correct timing of protein snacks. Scientists and practicing physicians have figured this out over the last several decades. You reduce your weight gain hormone of insulin by activating your insulin receptors. When your insulin receptors are working, you use less insulin to get the correct effect. So we do that with a precise amount of gentle exercise done daily. Now, it's not weightlifting 3 times a week. That's fine to do. But daily, we want to activate our insulin receptors. And we have medications that can do this, but we can do that ourselves. And science has shown us how to do that. The other thing is we speed up weight loss by removing the fat breakdown products by drinking the correct amount of water. We can't drink water instead of meals, but if we balance it out properly, and of course, you know, doctors, we study everything down to the detail, the correct amount of water flushes out these breakdown products so that we continue to break down fat. The exciting part of the weight loss program is we have 3 meals a day, and it includes all the food groups. There's not one food group that is deemed horrible. We can't eat from that food group, or we're not just eating our entire diet out of another food group. And those programs that do that are very hard to follow in the long term. The portions are controlled for 4 weeks of weight loss, then loosely controlled for 2 weeks of metabolic adjustment. You repeat the cycle until you reach your goal. The meals are even more flexible in the maintenance phase. So you know what to do day by day, and you know what to do month by month. It's absolutely fabulous. The other component of the Healthpointe program is the long-term health maintenance. And there's 4 keys that I really want to emphasize. It's a fabulous maintenance program. In fact, I have some patients who go on the program who don't need to lose weight. They simply are looking for long-term health maintenance. They would go straight to the maintenance portion. The first part of the Healthpointe plan is that it activates our insulin receptors, which I mentioned earlier, that lowers our triglycerides, decreases the need for diabetes medication, and normalizes borderline or pre-diabetics. So there's a lot of people out there who are told by their doctor, well, you're not diabetic yet, but you're getting close. This program helps them to return to normal blood sugars. So the number one thing is the anti-diabetic effect. Number 2 is the anti-stress effect, and we all can use that, can't we?
Yes.
The Healthpointe program decreases the mental stress in a couple of different ways. One is by stabilizing the blood sugar. There's really only 2 nutrients the brain needs minute by minute for normal functioning. That's oxygen and blood sugar. And if our blood sugar drops, as it does on the normal American diet, we're going to have trouble handling problems. And little irritants like the other person on the freeway who's changing lanes, things like that will handle problems in life less effectively. I'll put it that way. Yes. Otherwise known as road rage. Besides stabilizing our blood sugar, which is essential for brain function, we also improve the function of each brain cell by supplementing our diet with long-chain DHA. DHA molecules are in fish oils, but they are not effective. The very short forms of them are not effective. That's what we get in warm water fish. Only cold water fish supply that. The third area is we improve artery function. And you mentioned earlier that I specialized in OB-GYN. That was a fabulous practice that I had there, and I just love that. But my specialty these days is really artery function. It's when the arteries don't function properly that we get a heart attack or a stroke. And the arteries can take a lot of abuse for many decades before they finally have those serious effects of the heart attack or the stroke. The way in which this program improves artery function, there's several ways, but the way I'd like to talk about now is that the vitamin and mineral supplements with the Healthpointe program are taken twice a day. That gives us a tremendous benefit. Let me just give you a couple of examples. Vitamin C only lasts 12 hours. It's an important antioxidant, and it also refreshes other antioxidants in our body, like vitamin E. So we need it there 24 hours a day. Second way is when we eat a large meal, like at a banquet or family reunion, a Christmas dinner, or maybe Friday night pizza. We will suffer 4 hours of stiff arteries after that meal.
Wow.
That's the equivalent of smoking 2.5 cigarettes. Now, most of us who are trying to take care of our health have either quit smoking or we never smoked in the first place, and we don't want to have that effect simply from eating a wonderful meal with the family. This stiff artery effect is completely blocked by taking a multivitamin and mineral supplement at the beginning of the meal. So the fact that the vitamin and mineral supplement with this program is twice a day has tremendous benefit, where at first it looks like an inconvenience. The fourth area that is absolutely amazing in our health maintenance program is that Healthpointe fills the gaps in our diet that are virtually impossible to get any other way. What comes to mind is not too long ago, the Surgeon General said that the number one nutritional deficiency is omega-3 fatty acids.
Yes.
These are fish oils. And they are essential nutrients in several key areas. One is all brain function, from thinking to emotions to peripheral nerve function, depends on eating fish oils. The other area is we improve joint function, And boy, that helps, even at an early age. That's amazing how we need that. The third area, and it's most important these days, is that they reduce triglycerides and thin the blood, which reduces heart attack rates by over 25%. We have a lot of good medical data on that one. So they're absolutely fabulous in our health. There's only a few obstacles to overcome, though, in getting these essential fish oils, and that is many of the world's fishing waters are contaminated with toxins, including mercury. So a regular diet of these fish is harmful, not helpful. Also, only cold water fish has the type of fish oils we need. So farm-raised fish is out, catfish is out, which is very annoying around here. Gulf Coast fish is out, Florida fish is out, Southern California fish is out, the list just goes on and on. Fortunately, the fish oils that have been chosen to be included in the Healthpointe program are obtained by a new fishing process of fishing below the icebergs, definitely cold water fish. They're then concentrated and purified, so they're more bioavailable and they are certified mercury-free. And that's been documented in independent lab testing as well. So I think that the areas for long-term health maintenance with Healthpointe are fabulous. Another area of nutritional deficiencies are the basic vitamins and minerals. And I routinely prescribe very high doses of vitamins B12, B6, niacin, and folic acid to my patients to help prevent heart attacks. Because frankly, people have spent decades eating diets deficient in these vitamins. Also, studies are showing how important selenium is in cancer prevention. Yet, most of our farmlands are totally depleted of this important mineral. Deficiencies of vitamins and minerals are also linked to dementia, anemia, growth problems, behavioral problems, and more. The Healthpointe system solves these problems by providing concentrated plant nutrients in a pill form. And the plants are grown under certified organic conditions and processed within hours of harvesting. And what difference does that make, you ask? At the office, I will check B12 levels. And what I find is people who think they're eating a healthy diet, or people who are taking your typical over-the-counter brands of vitamin and mineral supplements, routinely, almost 100% of the time, have B12 levels below 400. And below 400 is associated with the signs and symptoms of B12 deficiency, anemias, balance problems, and other mental disorders. Yet, when I have patients who are taking the same organic multivitamin and multimineral supplement in the Healthpointe program, their levels are always above 400. These vitamins are absorbed. No point taking a vitamin and wasting your money if it's not being absorbed. The second key is that we have studies that show that synthetic vitamins are not as helpful as organic vitamins, and in some cases they are harmful. Synthetic vitamin E is harmful, whereas natural vitamin E is helpful. And I can't emphasize that enough. We don't want to spend money to take things that are just depleting our health. But I want to review that Healthpointe, number one, activates our natural weight loss hormone. It's not a drug, it's natural. Number two, Healthpointe decreases the diabetes effect. And a lot of us have that gene in our families by activating insulin receptors. Number three, we eat 3 meals a day from all the food groups. We do not have to confine ourselves to 1 or 2 food groups. Number four, we reduce mental stress. That's real important around my house. By stabilizing the blood sugar with protein snacks and by taking cold water fish oils. Number 5, we improve artery function by taking multivitamins twice a day. And number 6, we fill in the gaps in our diet with natural organic supplements. So this Healthpointe program is not South Beach, it's not Atkins, it's not Weight Watchers or any of the other plans out there, because this is a health program, not a short-term fix a few pounds on your hips type of program.
And let me just ask you this too, as a director of the wellness clinic at the Heart Place, I'm sure you see a lot of people who have come in, perhaps they're already, say they're vegetarians, and they believe they've been eating healthy, or they have gone to someplace to get vitamins, or maybe even a health food store to get vitamins. Could you just comment on, like, say, a vegetarian diet, or even perhaps people who are going to health food stores to get particular vitamins, and the difference in that and what we're offering through Nutrilite and Ocean Essentials?
That's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up. Whenever I see a heart attack patient who has been a vegetarian, they're usually astounded that they still have had a heart attack. And here's what I find. Every single time I have tested a vegetarian, whether they are normal weight or overweight, they have a particular cholesterol pattern in which they have inactivated their good cholesterol and supercharged their bad cholesterol. This happens because the vegetarian diet is very high in grains. When you have a diet that's high in grains, your insulin level is high. Your triglycerides are high. Triglycerides inactivate the good cholesterol, and they shrink down and supercharge the bad cholesterol. When I say that, supercharging the bad cholesterol, what I mean is the LDL cholesterol particles shrink down, they become oxidized more easily, they're small enough to fit between the little gaps in the artery wall, they're stickier so they build plaque faster, plus they increase the inflammation in the body because the body identifies oxidized LDL cholesterol as a foreign invader. And so our whole immune system is activated. When we have cholesterol plaque that has a high immune response in it, that plaque breaks. And when the cholesterol plaque breaks, that's when we get the heart attack or the stroke. So that's the most dangerous type. I understand these people are trying to do something good for their health, but every single time I test them, I see this pattern. Vegetarian is not the best way to go. I find people who come in on Atkins diet. On that diet, although their triglycerides are nice and low, that is one benefit of the diet, what I find is that their good cholesterol, the activity level of their good cholesterol is usually 0. And this has been known for many years by the labs that do the high-level lipid testing. That would be Berkeley Lab in Berkeley, California, and Liposcience Lab in North Carolina. These are the two labs in the country that specialize in evaluating the activity level of the good and bad cholesterol. Atkins diet, because of the fat content, totally uses up our good cholesterol. The level on regular testing is the same. It looks unchanged, but the activity level is 0. So that's very frustrating for a lot of people on that diet.
Right.
On South Beach diet, which is a slightly lower fat version of Atkins, we still have major food groups that are either eliminated or severely restricted, so we're not getting the fiber that we need or the vitamins and minerals that we need from our diet. On the Weight Watchers program, I find that a lot of my patients who are doing the Weight Watchers program, you're allotted a certain number of points per day that you can spend on your food, and it costs you a lot of points to eat protein. It does not cost very many points to eat carbs. So they're usually spending their points on carbs. They end up in a protein deficient state. What happens when we lose weight in a protein deficient state like the Weight Watchers program? Well, number 1, we lose muscle, and number 2, we lose protein from the skin. So our skin gets a lot more wrinkled than it would be if we lost weight on a program where we had protein several times a day. The minimum times a day to get protein to lose weight and not have a whole bunch of wrinkles is 6. That's the absolute minimum. That
six protein snacks a day then?
Yes,
okay.
That's the absolute minimum. And you won't hear that emphasized on any of the programs out there. And none of us wants to lose weight and end up looking like we're 15 years older.
Exactly. Now, I know I've heard you before, Dr. Miller, talk about in the clinic that you run, that you've had a couple of people with a pretty good weight losses, like 90 pounds, 100 pounds, and how they lost this in, say, a year's period of time versus, this was on the Healthpointe program, versus I believe somebody else came to see you who had lost a significant amount on Weight Watchers, and you were just commenting to me at one time about the difference in the look there. Would you just, since this kind of ties in with what you're saying, would you cover that?
That's an excellent point. Actually, this past year I had 3 patients who lost a tremendous amount of weight, 2 with our program. One patient lost 100 pounds in a year.
Wow.
Another patient lost 110 pounds in a year, and he started the program in extremely poor health. In fact, he almost died. He had 3 heart attacks in a row, each about 2-3 weeks apart.
Wow.
So he almost died and barely made it through. I had another patient who lost 90 pounds in 1 year using the Weight Watchers program. Now, the 2 patients who used the Healthpointe program had multiple protein snacks every single day. They felt great. They looked great. Halfway through the program, they looked fabulous. When they were completely done with the weight loss portion of the program, they looked fabulous. Their energy was up. They looked younger.
Oh,
it was amazing.
As we all want to.
Yes, that's a good goal. The patient who is a little bit younger than me, who lost 90 pounds in 1 year using the Weight Watchers program, she was now thin enough that the number of calories she was allowed per day was very limited. She was basically going hungry every single day. She looked hungry and nervous, and when I saw her after that weight loss, I didn't think I had the right chart. She was 42 years of age. I thought she was 65.
Whoa.
And I kept looking at the chart, looking at her. I thought 42, 65, 42, 65. So to be sure I had the right chart, I very subtly asked her what her birth date was to, be sure my records were right. And that was the right chart. That was her. And she was totally convinced that she was a foodaholic. And if she didn't watch it every single day, those 90 pounds were coming right back on. So she lived in fear and in hunger. And that's not our goal. We want to live a healthy and abundant life.
Right. And I know that you have patients who come in and maybe they're already taking an omega-3 from like a health food store or something. And do you find differences? I mean, would you still recommend like an Ocean Essentials program over something at a health food store? Or like our Nutrilite versus, say, Centrum? Or what have you found there in those areas?
It's when it comes to which vitamin is better, which fish oil supplement is better, there's a few things that I can measure. So I don't have to wait to see the effects over 10 or 20 years of life. Right. And one of them is the fish oils are fabulous at lowering triglycerides. However, if the company purchases their fish oil from fish farms, which is easy and convenient, they are not going to get the long chain fatty acids. If they're not long chain, they just simply don't work. I've had patients who have tried to buy less expensive products, and when it comes to the Ocean Essentials, there is nothing out there that compares. I've had patients who've bought expensive fish oils from health food stores, still does not compare. When they've brought in their product, I look at them, look at what's on the package, what they claim to have in them. I can smell them. That's definitely fish oil in there, but it is not lowering their triglycerides. I switch them to Ocean Essentials, and I can check their blood level 1 month later. Wow. Night and day difference. Now, I have expensive prescription medications that lower triglycerides, but I don't have expensive medications that strengthen our brain neurons, that improve our joints, and that lower our triglycerides all at the same time.
Right.
So the Ocean Essentials products do all those things, and I can measure it. And I already told you about the B12 levels. You know, there's many quality companies out there that are producing products that simply are not absorbed. I believe these companies are trying to do a good job, trying to make a good product, but what Nutrilite goes through with their certified organic farms in California, processing the plants within just a few hours, having hundreds of scientists who do quality control, that is quite an expensive process. Very few companies are going to go to that length. And the benefit is their product is absorbed. Nature just makes it better.
You're even suggesting perhaps that when the times that we have big meals that are coming up, whether that's a reunion or even a Sunday meal, or as you mentioned, Friday night pizza, or especially maybe around the holidays when so many of us would like to keep our weight down, but we're a little tempted to do, the dumplings maybe with the turkey or something. And you're suggesting that good nutrition can even help us keep things in balance.
You know, one thing that I didn't realize although I went through medical school and residency and I was a practicing physician in OB-GYN, I didn't realize it until I watched my husband's cardiology practice, was that a lot of patients came in to the emergency room with their chest pain, with their heart attack, with their TIA or mini stroke, after Thanksgiving dinner, after Christmas dinner. These were hard days to be on call. I didn't realize how the challenge. Also, we had a lot of out-of-town patients who come in because they're in town for a family reunion. And of course, they have to eat every aunt's pie and everybody's specialty. And what was happening was that the cholesterol plaque in their body was not giving them trouble until it has a little break or a little tear. Now in medicine we call that plaque rupture. Well, that sounds very dramatic, but it's just a little tear. Our blood pounds through our arteries every time our heart beats, and our arteries are normally very flexible. They stretch and get big every time the heart beats, and then they relax and come down between heartbeats. But after a large meal, same thing as after smoking a cigarette, the arteries are stiff for 90 minutes after each cigarette or 4 hours after a large meal. And the blood has to force its way through those arteries, and it can cause trauma and tearing of those cholesterol plaque. As soon as the bloodstream sees the cholesterol or the fat, then that activates our clotting system. We get a huge clot, and that artery is shut down.
Wow.
And that's the heart attack, or that's the stroke. So definitely, if we take our multivitamin supplement right at the start of that meal, we completely block that effect.
Oh.
And I would highly recommend it. If I had already taken my 2 doses of Double X during the day, and I went to a large banquet or wedding reception, something of that nature, I would take an extra dose at the start of that meal.
Oh, good.
To protect myself.
Well, I thank you so much for visiting with us today, and especially clearing some things up in my own mind about the difference in some of the programs, because I think I, like a lot of people, have been on every diet imaginable, and I think most diets work. Short term, you can lose some.
That's right.
But then I always gained back. And so to know that you have the knowledge to actually keep your weight off, I think is very encouraging for people. And once they have this knowledge in their head, know what is working for them, know that you mentioned metabolic adjustment and the lifetime maintenance, knowing exactly how much they can eat and stay at that ideal weight and feel healthy and feel good and look good, then it just is such a treasure in our hands, especially in the society we live in today.
That's right. And even if we do take a week to go on a fabulous cruise and eat every meal that they offer,
all 7 meals,
yes, then we know exactly what to do at the end of the week. We don't have to look around for a new program. We know how to kickstart our natural weight loss hormone. It's very exciting. And the other thing is this. I know plenty of people who've never been overweight who are nice and thin, but they're crabby. Crabby people. Why? Because they're starving to maintain their weight. They definitely don't want to get fat. And so they are skipping meals whenever they can tough it out to do so. This program helps everybody, normal weight and overweight, because we all could use that stabilizing of the blood sugar, that improving of our artery function, and filling in those nutritional gaps that we all have in our diet.
This recording is the exclusive property of Network 21. Duplication is strictly prohibited without the written permission of Network 21. No one can guarantee that the techniques and approaches suggested in this cassette will work for you. We hope, however, that the ideas presented herein will assist you in developing a strong and profitable business.